conventions and unification of the private international law. And read that what I posted on the screen. Yes. Can you able to see it? Read. Raymond, read.
Notion, purpose, and object of unification of law and uniform law.
Good.
Starting point, divergence of notion, legal
Orders.
No, unification of law, bracket, not only reception of foreign law, close bracket, process and results of unification of laws. Another bullet, process, unification of law, harmonization, approximation of laws. Another bullet, result, uniform law. Another bullet, object, all legal areas, particularly important in international business law.
Yeah, that is the thing which I put it there. Professor Dr. Mohammed Saheb Hussain, Professor of Law, South Mwanza, Tanzania. Okay. The purpose of the unification is, if the unification law is there is no dispute of the geographical. Because either it is the offense committed in the India, offense committed in the Tanzania, or offense committed in the, or a dispute committed in the Kenya or Uganda or Botswana, if they are the same law would be there. It doesn't make any difference which law could be applied over there. No, why we should have to make the unification? Tell me. Because of the liberalization and globalization, now the world is like a hamlet. Breakfast you can do in Uganda, lunch you can make it in Kenya, and dinner you can eat at the Tanzania. So a man liberty would be there. And generally man having some criminal mentality also. But only the one thing is, where the criminal mentality propensates, or it will be, what I say, exalted, not exalted is actual what we should say, it is ignited or comes out. That is called propensity is more, that is the appropriate word, then the criminal act would be done. At that instance, if any conflict comes over there, and that person is hailing from the different domicile and residents of domicile and does a civil wrong over there, if the unification is there, that is easy to resolve the issue. That is actually the purpose of the making the unification. Now let us see that what exactly it says about it. So, oh, I did not open it. No, it is there. Yeah. Yes, conventions which are applicable in the private international law, it also goes with the unification. So we are already read some of the conventions, but here we can make the repeat the important conventions. Like what does the Lugano Convention do? Can you read it? This highlighted point. Dorcas.
What does the Lugano Convention do? The Lugano Convention provides for the recognition and enforcement of a wide range of civil and commercial judgments between the EU and the European Free Trade Association, EFTA,
States.
It is an international agreement, and other states may join subject to the approval of the present parties to the agreement. The Lugano Convention is a multilateral treaty between the EU and 3 out of the 4 members of EFTA, that means Switzerland, Norway, and Iceland.
Yes. Why this Lugano Convention is needed over there? See, this is needed for the recognition and enforcement of a wide range of the civil and commercial judgments. So, Lugano Convention conveys recognition and enforcement of the wide civil and commercial matters are concerned between the EU, European Union, and the European Free Trade Association, EFTA. So, this is between it, the states, the EFTA states, it is clearly mentioned 3: Switzerland, Norway, and Iceland. So, it is an international agreement, and other states may join subject to the approval of the present parties to the agreement. So, at present, Lugano Convention is having the 4 countries. If any other country wants to join it, then they have to take the agreement of these 4 countries. So, the Lugano Convention is, here I am cursor making, the Lugano Convention is multilateral treaties between the EU and 3 out of the 4 members of the EFTA, that is the Switzerland, Norway, and Iceland. It means Tanzania, India, or any other East African countries will not be the members of this Lugano Convention. Is it clear? Is it clear? Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us see is Tanzania is a party to the New York Convention? A New York Convention also there. So what it says actually, Tanzania ratified the New York Conventions on the 12th January 1965. Very good. However, the New York Convention has never been incorporated into the municipal law. Did you know it? They ratified it, but they did not make it out in the municipal law. Given the treaties signed by the ratified by the Tanzania only become the law in Tanzania after they are passed by the parliament, and convention is not binding. So when you say ratified it, suppose if you ratified it, you have to domesticate it in your laws. When you domesticate it in the law, then only it is a binding one. Unless until it is not domesticated, it is not a binding one. So now, who will take the action against the Tanzania if they are not, though they say ratified it, but it is not passed by the parliament, and the consent of the president also not there, at the time it is not a binding. But I told you no, international law is a strong law or a weak law? Public international law. Yes? Or international law? Anyone?
It is a strong one.
No. It is a weak law. Because there is a lack of sanctions are there. Suppose executive machinery is very, I don't say it's a poor, but it works very slowly. So you might have read it somewhere or anywhere, public international law or the international law is a not a that much strong law, is a weak law. When you matter comes to the matter of the private international law, yes, it can be made certain aspect of it because it is give the justice to the party, and where its violations, its breach would be there in the civil matters are concerned. At that instance, we can say private international law will work definitely in one form, in another form, when the states are making an agreement, either bilateral agreement or the multilateral agreement, or the party to the convention, or they are members to the treaty. At that instance, then the question comes over there. They merely the not signatory, they should have been ratified and domesticated in the law. That means it will be passed by the parliament or a competent legislative assembly or whatever the competent authority would be there, which will enact the law in a particular country, and the accent should be taken by the president, then it is a binding law. So that would be there. But in one way, in another way, we can say it's not a strong law. So please read it somewhere. It will be, I will show you if I can get the chance. This international law is not a weak law. And I believe that because this course I taught in the Iringa for the masters, there I made the question whether that international law is a weak law or strong law, and give the justification for that regard. So, of course, I prepared so many questions. I will give the question back to you after some time. So, let us come to the next EFTA. We already told you EFTA. What is EFTA? European EFTA. Just now we read it. European, what is F? Here it is given. Free Trade Association. What is EFTA? European
Free Trade Association.
Yes, because the purpose my asking is if you read and read and read, then only you can remember it. Otherwise, you cannot remember it. So, EFTA states, I already told you that the members are the Iceland, of course, here Liechtenstein, but here there is no Liechtenstein, only Norway and Iceland is there. Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Switzerland. I believe that the one more is added over there. Yes, the four EFTA states are competitive in several sectors, vital to the global economy and score among the highest in the world in the competitiveness, wealth creation per inhabitants, life expectancy and quality of life. But these countries are very rich countries and they do have a lot of resources, and these countries now they will give the money to the other countries to do the research also. Funding is there, these countries. So let us see that which ILO convention have been ratified by Tanzania. So of course, Tanzania ratified the ILO conventions and very long back. I think it is 1965 or earlier. I don't know exactly that. So it is the ILO Child Labor Convention achieved universal ratification. United Nations in Tanzania. Yes, it is a member of the ILO. And many countries, almost all the countries are the members of the ILO. What is ILO?
International Labour Organizations.
Very good. Where it is headquarters? It is Switzerland or Geneva. ILO headquarters. Please check it because sometimes, of course, we cannot remember the each and every headquarter. But only the 5 organs plus another organ which is not there in the New York. What is that organ which is not there in the New York? In the 6 organs of the UN, the main organs. I told several times. Yes, there are 6 organs in the main organs in the UN. But one organ is not in the New York. It is in the different country. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
I posted, my daughter visited that country, and I posted also the Union Republic of Tanzania is there on the stone, and they are the member of the ICJ, The Hague, Netherlands. I don't know whether I posted to you or not. Yes,
We have it.
I posted, is it not? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
But
you
how you
posted.
forgotten it? ICJ is only the one organ which is there in the Hague, the Netherlands. Okay, now is India part of the EFTA? Answer no. But of course, they try to make it out because of they want to make the trade with the European Union. The present members of the EFTA is limited to 4 countries. That is the Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. And these countries are not part of the European Union. Of course, these countries are not the part of the European Union. During the visit of course, he is the president of the Iceland. In the 2005, Iceland has proposed to negotiate free trade agreement with the India. Of course, India, China, it's a very big countries and there is a trade is more and the floating of the people are very more in these countries. So many people will migrate to the other countries also and do their work and they supply the labor as well as they are the exporting countries. So how does the international convention become applicable in Tanzania? See, unless until a membership you have taken in the particular either bilateral treaty or multilateral treaty or the conventions or the declarations or the protocol, whatever you say it is. The international treaties and conventions are not self-executing. So once signed, they are subjected to the ratification process, which involves the National Assembly, and the President should have to give the assent, and then only it is published in the Gazette, then it comes into the force. Then at the time it is a binding. Once ratified, they become enforceable in the courts of law. Is it clear? Is it clear? Say yes or no. That is a domesticated, in other words.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. I appreciate. Now let us go to the next point, the Hague Convention. So there are many Hague Conventions are there. But here the private international law, let me see what the Hague Convention says. The Hague Convention, that is the Conference on the Private International Law, is an intergovernmental organization. The purpose of it is to, I quote, to work for the progressive unification, the rules of the private international. You need to write under the American Association, under the Hague Conventions, and the New York Conventions. They are the very what I say important conventions are there, and where most, even India and Tanzania also party to those conventions. So what is the purpose of the Brussels Conventions? The convention sets out the system of the allocation of the jurisdiction and for the reciprocal. Even the Brussels Conventions also will say the same, that the recognition and enforcement of the foreign judgment in commercial and business. And we read in the above what is that conventions, which also give the same importance for the recognition and enforcement of the foreign judgment in the civil and commercial Lugano Convention. Okay, now let us come to the, I don't know whether you know the Berne Conventions. You are supposed to know the Berne Conventions. I would like to see. Yes. What is meant by the Berne Convention? And what does it say? And what does it protect? I am sure that you should know it. When you are writing the LLB report, or you can say use this word there. Where do you use these Berne Conventions? In the preliminary pages, you use one of the page for this, and there you mention the Berne Convention. If you know it, you tell me. If you don't know it, just say pass on. I will give the answer. Quick.
Pass, sir.
See, when you are writing the thesis, can I show you one of the thesis? Of course, I think I saved the thesis somewhere. There is a copyright is there. There you mention, as per the Berne Convention, and this report is not copied, not published anywhere, and it is we are having the right, and the university having the right to not to use this matter without the permission of the university as well as the candidate. It says about the artistic work and copyright. So the Berne Convention for the production of the literary and artistic works is an international set of laws that protects the copyrights works for the infringement across the member countries. So Berne Convention, I will show you one copy to you so that you could understand a very good way. Yes, I will make it out. Because there is a thesis that you will write it now. This is edit some thesis. LLM. Here only. Yes, here only. I will show you. See, this is one of the Edgar, and he did the LLM from the Mozambique University, and my guide name is here. And who guided me for my PhD? Of course, his name is this name, Professor Abdul Rais Khan. And I made him to come to the Mozambique University to teach over there. I will show you the C certification and later on copyright. See, read. Read.
Copyright. This dissertation is a copyright material protected under the Berne Convention, the Copyright Act, and other international and national enactments. In that behalf, on intellectual property, it may not be reproduced by any means in full or in part, except for the short extracts in fair dealings for research or private study, critical, scholarly review, or discourse with an acknowledged without written permission of the Directorate of Postgraduate Studies on behalf for both the author and the Mzumbe University.
See, I told you no. See, convections he wrote. No, it's wrong. Not convections, convention. Here, instead of C, there should be N. Okay? Okay?
Yes, sir.
But you
Yes.
did not write the copyright in your LLB dissertation, in the report. You did not mention this one. Tell me. See, this Professor Abdul Rais Khan, he is my PhD
I did.
supervisor. And I did in India, and I brought him over here to teach because they said that they don't have the professors. So I brought him here to see that he taught in the Mozambique University. So he worked there. But now he is no more. Of course, he died just last year. So let his soul rest in peace. So generally that you use in your dissertation, thesis and scholarly works the Berne Convention. Is it clear? I don't know why you
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
in your LLM also you are supposed to write this copyright one page. You have to write in the preliminary pages. There you have to mention this Berne Convention. Protection of the it is the author and the university where you are submitting it. They do have the right. Of course, for the study purpose and private purpose, you can use the fair deal, but not for the selling the purpose. The material could be used over there. So what is the Berne Convention countries? Of course, almost all the countries are there, the members of these Berne Conventions, because and an international agreement governing the copyright, which was first accepted the Berne, Switzerland in 1886. So that first one it is in the Switzerland it is happened. That's why I told you, the Switzerland is having a lot of money, and Norway, Switzerland, and Holland, Netherlands, they're having a lot of money and they will also support it for the funding. So what are the theories of the private international law? So this already you studied it. I don't know whether you could give me the answer for this question or not. Yes, give me the answer. What are the theories, THEORIES, theories of the private international law? You studied at least, there are 5 theories are there for the private international law, because somewhere in some places that we will use these theories to defend the plaintiff or the defendant. Mostly the plaintiff defended. So try to give the compensation to the plaintiff by using these theories. What are these at least those theories? Can you name them at least 1 or 2 or 3? Sir, we studied very long back. No, sir, we forgotten.
International jurisdiction, sir.
No. Vested right theory, local law theory, and another. Okay, let me see, because even myself also forgotten, because I also read it very long back and I could not. So here the theories are namely statute theory, international theory, territorial theory, local law theory, theory of justice. There is a vested right theory also there. Of course, in among them it will come over there. Each of these theories are explained further along with their principal application, and these are also applicable in deciding the cases in the private international. And we do have to study it also. And I am sure that you studied these theories in your LLB when you take that. Do you have the private international law in the LLB? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You did not. Who taught you private international law?
You did.
Nini? Full name? Yes? It is the first time I introduced the private international law in the University of Dar es Salaam. Otherwise, it was restricted to the only brochure or prospectus. The present Chief Justice, who is the Chief Justice, present Chief Justice? Yes? Who is the
Professor
present Chief
Juma.
Justice of Tanzania? Please speak.
Professor Juma.
Say the full name. Professor Ibrahim Hamisi Juma. And he was a dean when I
Ibrahim
joined.
Juma. Yes.
When I joined in the LLB, when I joined to work in the 2004, he was the dean at the time. And he told me, Hussain, try to introduce one new course to you so that the people will remember you. So I said, sir, I do have some grip in the private international law because the subject, the private international law, I taught in the University of Asmara, Eritrea for the 3 years. So I said, I will introduce sir. So it is me who prepared the course outline, and most of the universities, they use the course outline, my course outline only. So I first time developed this private international law. At the time, it is only the optional course, elective course. Only 10, 12, 15 students are there. But after the 2 years later, the TCU, the Tanzania Commission for the University said, no, this course should be a compulsory course. Then it should be put it in the 4th year because there we will study the family law, there we study the transfer of property law, there we study the contract law, there we study the tort law, and hence it should be kept in the 4th year, first semester. So at the time, I am the person who was dealing that course coordinator for that one. Those who did earlier, they are exempted to do again, but at the time it became a compulsory course. So you can say that, Prof, the credit goes to you. Yes, the credit goes to me. That's why the University of Dar es Salaam has given me at least 6 times renewal, and I worked for there the 11 years. That's why I do have certain grip in the private international law. So why I am giving this thing is, it was not there. It was only restricted to the prospectus. After coming myself only in 2004, it has come to the limelight, and I developed the course outline. See, I did not have the soft copy because I lost my hard disk. Otherwise I would have to show you my course outline. But still, you can, but here they modified it and they did not use it now. So now let us come to the another point here, what to do the Geneva Conventions. We already made it, the Geneva Convention specifically provide the murder, mutilation, torture, taking of the hostages, unfair trial, cruel and humiliating the degrading treatment. So if anything such would be there, it requires that the wounded, sick and shipwrecked, collected and care of, then all the things will be dealt under the Geneva Convention, and where the people are members of this convention and they have to obey it. If not, the sanctions would be there. What are the sanctions? Yes, we read the sanctions. What are the sanctions? Diplomatic relations should be curtailed. Economic sanctions should be there. No export, no import, no transport. And if they want, they can send the UN troops for enforcement of certain things also, if any more violations are there. Okay, let us see the Rome Conventions. The conventions on the law, sir, in the examinations, we have to write all those things. Yes, at least you highlight at least 5 to 6 conventions. That is very much important factors. Like the Hague Convention, Geneva Convention, New York Conventions, Berne Convention, Lugano Convention, Brussels Conventions, and Rome Convention. At least you write this thing, it is more than enough. Are you following me?
Yes.
Yes.
Appreciate. The Rome Convention, the Convention on the Law applicable to the contractual obligations. Sir, how could you remember, sir? I told you the only method is read read and read. That is only the method you have to follow it. Read, recite, and review. These are another matter. 3 R's. So now it is only that you have to repeat it. Okay, this convention, okay, says about this one. This convention says about this one. Just you have to read it, then only you can remember the things. The convention and the law applicable to the contractual obligations, this is. Or the Rome Convention is a measure to private international law or conflict of laws which create a common choice of law system contracts with the European Union. Either why European Union, any member of the state which are the member to the Rome Convention, they are supposed to follow what are the norms are there in the Rome Conventions regarding the contractual obligations are concerned. And there I already told you, the party which are not residents of a particular country, even the plaintiff or the defendant, but still they can choose another country law for the choice of law. And what is the case law? Can you tell me? Because we already read this case law in arbitration. Yes, Raymond. Richmond Downs versus Tenesco. There we read it. ICC, they have given the dispute should be resolved over there in the ICC tribunal. Or if any maritime or admiral disputes are there, no other country has such a developed law except England. So they will follow the English law of England. So now let us see the main principle to come out of the Rome Conventions. So it is a choice of law based on the principle of freedom of choice in the contractual obligation. Can India is a part of the Rome Convention? Why India, even Tanzania? Similarly, it is not a signatory to the Rome Convention. Yet the India is not a signatory to the Rome Convention. For the production of the performance and producers, phonograms, broadcasting organization, even though the research indicates that the national industry carefully rich, developing countries have much to gain from it. So India is not a member to the Rome Conventions. I don't know the Tanzania. You can check it with the Tanzania. When India will not be a member in the Rome Convention, perhaps even Tanzania also will not be a member. Subject to the correction, you can make it out. Geneva Convention, we already read it. Now let us see the. I don't know how much time is left over there. Still, have 15 minutes are left over there. Yes, we can just make an introduction to you. So now, can I make the review? What are the conventions you should have to remember? Just now I told you. Yes, repeat. What are the conventions that you have to remember?
Berne Convention,
Hague Convention,
Good.
Lugano Convention,
Very good.
New York Convention,
Very good.
Rome Convention.
Very good. You did not say the copyright. What is the copyright convention?
It is a Berne Convention.
Berne Convention. It is Tosha. This much is enough for your examination. If you remember the at least 6 convention, it is enough. Examiner feel very much happy. So now let us see the unification of the private international law. I already told you why the unification should be necessary. To save the time, no rehearsal, and the world is now Hamlet. I already told you what is Hamlet. Not the Shakespeare, that is a fiction, or the novel Hamlet, Hamlet. Of course, the spelling is the same. What is meant by Hamlet? Yes, if you know it, you tell me, or you can say pass on.
in Swahili, or
No, Hamlet, you say in Kingreza. Okay, I will give the example to you. World, country, city, town, city, town, village, and smaller than the village is called hamlet. Is it clear?
Yes.
So now the world is a hamlet. I think you did not read my article, which I sent to you, the joint article, Recognition and Enforcement of the Foreign Judgment. There I use this word at least 2 or 3 times. Because of the recognition, they say, now the world is hamlet. Because I told you just before in your class only, lunch in Uganda, sorry, breakfast in Uganda, and lunch in the Kenya, and the dinner in Tanzania. Because of the liberalization and the globalization, there is no restriction of a man to go to the other country, provided they have to take the visa. Suppose if, like a foreigner like me, I need the visa to go to the Uganda, I need the visa to go to the Kenya. Of course, I can produce my card and they will immediately issue the visa also. Because the purpose of it, then I can show them and they will issue the visa. So there is no such a restriction would be there to travel any other country, provided if you take a visa from that country. The purpose of it, no, a man can be born at one place and married at another place with another girl or woman, and having children born in the another country, and they grown in another country, and they're doing job in another country. So the many countries are involved over there. If at all any disputes, conflict comes over there, and what is the law should be used? So they say a private international law comes to the rescue. At that instance, yes, people will get the justice as if they are the citizen or the subject of that country where they are hosted. For instance, you take my case. I told you that I am not a domicile of this country, but I am a resident of this country. If anything goes wrong, or if any criminal act is done over there, of course, private international will not done, but the Tanzania government will definitely protect the law to me. If the civil wrong is done to me, if anything, yes, it is treated as if I am a subject of this country, and they will give the justice to me. Of course, regarding the mobile property, if I am having over there, can a foreigner will keep the property over here? Yes. Can a foreigner will buy the property here and construct a house over here and he will be the owner of the house?
No.
Answer no.
No,
Because
sir.
if you become a citizen, yes, but you can invest. You can invest. I can open the shop. Yes, I take I think the license and I pay it and
And
open the shop and I invest it. Then I can run the business. Even on my own name. Are you following me?
yes.
Because
Sir.
I am helping them. See here, only one optical shop is there in Monza. Only one. But a very good demand would be there. And today I spoke with one of the students. I don't know whether you know it or not, Pooja Karia. She studied in the UDSM, did the LLM, now pursuing the PhD in the University of Cape Town. And she's born over here. His father also born over here. And his house is very near to the U-turn, what is a supermarket, or Kariba Deluxe Hotel is there now in the corner. And she is a licensed consultant for issuing this what I say investment. If you want to do any business, yes, she will consultant. She will try to help the people to make the business and invest over here in Tanzania. So why I am giving this example is people will travel, people do the business, people will invest it, even people will marry it. I don't know whether you know it, one German of the South married to the Tanzanian here. Do you know that this fact? Because I saw the Muzungu Hapa Yupo, that is a academic blog. I saw, sir, there is a Muzungu is there, the foreigner. Yes, he is a German married to the Tanzanian. Can the law will stop it? Yes. Tell me.
No, sir.
Provided he should have all the capabilities. If their country, it will prohibit it at that instance, he cannot marry over here, like the consanguinity. Are you following me? Consanguinity, blood relationship.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, that you might have studied. No, no, of course, we'll study in the family when the matter comes to the family. The family matters, we'll study it. Okay. Can the two Tanzanians go to the South Africa? The two Tanzanians, both are gays, go to the South Africa and they marry there and come to the Tanzania? Whether such a marriage is a valid marriage? Yes?
Yes.
No. Because Tanzania will not allow the gay marriages. So if it is not allowed the gay marriages over here, they are not supposed to go to the other country and married over there and come back. Okay, if you want to go marry over there, you can marry it, but stay there in that country and don't come back. Otherwise, no, it's a disguise form to get it married, go to the another country and get it married and come back to the Tanzania. No, it is prohibited there. Of course, we will read it when you are dealing the family dispute. I don't know, you already read in the LLB. And how could you say that? Yes.
I didn't hear it very well.
Yeah, because I told you, no, I read this very, so many times. So that's why that I could have certain grips. But anyway, because of your repetition should be there. So the purpose of the unification is a very important factor, and many countries will try to make the unification. Of course, they developed the some code also, but it is not still becoming a law because every country wants to protect their own rights, and every country is a secular country, not a sovereign country, and they want to see that their law should be implemented over there. But when you make the laws, okay, sometimes we will make it certain points, sometimes we cannot use the policy of the one country. So it is sometimes it's a plus point and sometimes it's a negative point. But overall, what I want to say, unification is necessary for the private international law because it makes a smooth running of the if any disputes or if any conflict comes when the foreign element is involved over there. So from a long time, it was believed that the law of different countries could unite. According to the Ernest Gittelman, since legal formalities are more or less common all across the globe, and the policy goals are shares, laws, and every country end up converging at the end. So every country wants that their policy should be adopted in the unification of the private international law. And every country will feel it, but we cannot satisfy each and every country, but which has the rationale is there, that will be taken into consideration and it can be used over there. Because I told you that 2 into 2 is 4. Any dispute? No dispute. So it can be accepted. Yes, it can be accepted. If it is done in the Kenya also the same result we can apply, the equation we can apply in the Tanzania because it is not against the public policy of the Tanzania. It is not against the constitution of the Tanzania. It is not against any contravention with the statutes passed in the Tanzania or enacted in Tanzania. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
We need not to prove again because already is there, it is universally accepted. 2 into 2 is 4. So when such a thing would be there, directly we can take the judgment of the other country and we can use in the Lex Forum and we will see that there would not be any duplication and the saving the time and there is no rehearsal and the judgment will be given and the party will be happy. So as stated earlier, the need for the private international law arises because each country has its different international laws. They do have the different international laws, or domestic laws, or customary laws, or we do have the customary law in Tanzania. Even in India also there is a customary law. And there is a religious law also. And there is a natural law also. Because it will be incorporated over there. So hybridization is there in the laws. I don't know whether you know in the law of contract, where the morality will be given or ethical laws will be given, or equity principle is followed over there in the law of contract. Do you have an idea? Equity principles are used over there. in the law of contract. It is, I believe, the 764 to section 71, quasi contracts. Have you read the quasi contracts? The contracts resembles like a contract. The contracts resembles like a contract. Those are the quasi contracts are there. There the equity principles are used over there. So in each statute, they use the customary law, of course, depending upon the country is concerned. But Tanzania use the customary law, religious law, natural law, and the statute. So here they said is because of each country has a different international laws, and if all the countries lay down uniform internal laws, and there would be no need of the private international law. So if the uniformity would be there naturally, then there is no question of a private international law will come into the picture. Because the same law can be used over there. Like I told you, the 2 into 2 is 4. So there is no question of any theories. There is no question of the private international rules should be used over there because law is the same. Can the law is the same in every country? Of course, in civil matters, in certain matters, yes, it is general principle are concerned. Yes, it is a common in all. Either it is a common law country or there is a civil law country. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Me? So now, if all the countries lay down the uniform internal laws, and there would be no need of the private international law because the laws are the same. But it must be noted that the difference is only regarding the internal laws, but also difference are there in the private international law, which each nation chooses to follow on the account of which conflict between the law arises. Due to this, the unification of law is a vital. Because the country laws are, I told you just now, South Africa allows the gay marriages, but the Tanzania will not allow gay marriages. But the USA, certain states like Hawaii, it's allow the gay marriages. But when you come to the matter of the Indiana state, in the USA, Indiana state, purely conservative states. Purely, it's a conservative states. It will not allow at all. So in India also, it will not allow the gay marriages. Even same-sex marriages, later we can say also. Of course, gay is different and a same-sex marriage is different because a woman to woman can marry. Can a woman to woman can marry? Yes. Of course, she's a she-male.
No.
Of course, she transforms the sex. Reproductive system is changed over there, then they can marry. Even though she looks like a woman, but she is a man, having the male organ. So now let us see that how it can be made. At any time it will be stopped now.
Tanzania,